Let us move on, and goodness me, it's another video, and it's Gunther, and he has something to say about the Ultimate Warrior. So 1 minute. Okay, so here is Gunther and his little pal with 2 presenters on the bump. I've got to say,
that's the WWE program. I have to skip up from there. I don't want this to play now. I want to skip over his talking, but let's see, right there, because I don't want to take this down, because I don't want to have to put this somewhere else. Because I found out yesterday, which I moved it anyway, just in case. The GI Joe video is copyright. You know, even though that clip is old, 30 years old, it's still copyright. So, but some people make a big deal out of this stuff, some don't. You know, like the APOC thing, I ain't heard nothing about that one yet, and that's been up there for years. So, but yeah, I'm about to skip up and see what they say about what he said. Cause I was like, here we go again. We're gonna just keep picking at the Warrior again and again and again.
Fan of the Ultimate Warrior as a.
First of all, that woman's voice would cut glass. I would have to say, please let the guy ask the questions. But anyway, is that being what they call
sexist? Yeah, probably
misogynist.
Yeah, why not? I think.
Hey, I kind of agree with Gunther, because Ultimate Warrior matches, and hey, I met the guy when he first started, but he never got much better.
Okay, yeah,
really. I have a picture of me with Sting and the Ultimate Warrior back before they were Sting and the Ultimate Warrior.
Or the Blade Runners, or whatever you call it, or Power Team USA.
Thumbs backward thing on it.
Oh yeah, I'm doing like this, like what that meant was, please take them out of the picture, and I just have a picture of me. But he didn't like wrestling.
So did a lot of Bad News Brown didn't like it either. And so
he's miserable. He was just miserable the whole time. He looked miserable. You say, how you doing? He's always grumbling. So you imagine the guy, if he was like 60 or 70 years old, he would be that old grouch.
He might have had a rough week or something.
He was never happy with anything. But the thing about Ultimate Warrior is his whole deal was his entrance, shaking the ropes, getting there, shaking his head, and making the comeback, and people. But they were trained. They trained.
Okay, Doug.
People want to know how they trained.
But see, again, we keep saying this. If he was sitting right here, I'd say the same thing. Ricky, he doesn't have to be Ricky Steamboat and Bret Hart. Now today's wrestler or fan is not going to like him, of course. Just like a lot of the old school wrestlers don't like the new guys falling on their head, and like the one dude, I think I only saw a replay of it, fell and broke his leg flipping out the ring, and that was horrible. He was one of the new guys in AEW. That was terrible. But yeah, so everybody's gonna pick at something. But damn, yeah, because like you said, like they don't like to hear the word that flip flop shit. What do they say? What did he say? That flippy shit. But yeah, But if you're picking at the flippy stuff, you gotta talk about. That means you're picking at Mysterio and Juventud and all them guys because they were doing that back in '97. Scorpio and Pillman were doing that back in '92. So yeah, somebody's always gonna pick. But damn,
monkeys. Well, go watch a Ultimate Warrior match and watch the people. They were trained like that, and they react exactly how they're trained. No, and I have to agree with Gunther. He's not a wrestler. He is a showman. He's a performer.
Oh, you mean wrestler or sports entertainer? They say that's two different things now. But he had a fan base. Even what's the guy from Boston Wrestling? He even said I can't think of his name right now. He even said he drew the crowd and drew some money. I cannot think of his name. hate that he's gone. I used to watch that channel all the time, the Boston Network. Damn, what is his name? I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, even it said that he drew some money. So come on now, like them or not.
But actually a short time showman. None of his matches went more than 10 to 12 minutes, and that's a stretch.
Yeah, well,
because at that time he would be blown up, breathing heavy.
Same thing with Goldberg. They said Goldberg was a little bit more athletic, but yeah, same thing. They went out there to do arm drags and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, they said what did the guy say about Yeah, he said Goldberg come out there, hit you hard, hit you again, spear, jackhammer, and he's in the shower. I was like, hey. And some people don't like to be sitting there for 30. That's another thing. Some people like the long match, some people don't. Like even my buddy, he's older than me, a lot older. And like I said in the other video, we'd be watching some stuff, and he'll be sitting there like, all right, come on now, let's get on to something else now. He's sitting there just holding the man's hand and just holding him there for 20 minutes. Some people don't want to see none of that. Like some people think the Bret Hart Iron Man matches, Bret and Michaels Iron Man is overrated. Iron Man match, like, I don't know about it being overrated, but yeah, it's just everybody has their likes and dislikes for the stuff. So yeah, because now I know fans today wouldn't like certain wrestlers, like I know he would consider him more like a gimmick wrestler. They said the Taker is a gimmick too, but they said the Taker had a longer career and wrestled, a lot better. But yeah, but still, he was popular. Whether he liked him or he didn't. Like just back when they used to say Hogan couldn't wrestle, and then you saw those tapes of Japan. So yeah, you seen something.
Because his cardio wasn't good. How old was he when he died?
Somewhere in his 50s. Just because we'll always get someone saying, well, actually,
if you're going to start with the steroids, he admitted it. If you're going to start with that, he admitted it.
For the most part, they were under 10.
What I was saying was, if you're going to start up with the steroid thing again, yeah, he admitted it, and Lex Luger admitted it.
10-minute affairs.
Yeah, he was in and he was out, which worked for him because if you saw him work more, he'd expose himself. Vince knew that. So when he got exposed, that was it.
Well, again, you don't got to have a 20-minute match.
By the way, when he died,
he had some.
Okay, I was at WrestleMania 29. I think that's when it was. And I'm sitting in the audience when he came out and he accepted the award or whatever they gave him. Like you can tell how much attention I was paying to the proceedings. And he actually mentioned me in his speech. I think because he looked at me out there and I'm going like this. Maybe I prompted him, say something about me, you moron. But he did mention me because I think he liked me. But he never told me that, so I don't know. And then 2 days later, I think he was on Raw, wasn't he? And then he fell over.
Yeah, no. One day he didn't fall over at Raw. By the way, it's WrestleMania.
Said it was after Raw. I mean, the day after.
But,
okay.
People.
Well, you saying I'm getting my dates mixed up? Are you calling me equal to The Rock? Hey, I can't remember shit.
Listen, I'd like to see you in Pride.
Yeah. Hey, I need to tell that story. I'm taking it now. I'm stealing that story. And I'm telling that thing. Yeah. Pride came after me and wanted me to get in there. Shit. You couldn't melt and pour me in a UFC or a Pride ring.
Pride?
Hell.
Woo! Brother, Pride was rougher than UFC. Kicking you in the face and stepping on it. No, who if they brought that back? Oh, boy. Who would be the champion there now? Probably John Jones. because his kicks is lethal as hell. But soccer kicks and foot stomps and oh boy, about as bad as getting kneed in the head. So
I'd be dripping off everywhere, but I'd be hanging on. You couldn't drop me in that ring.
With Gunther's criticism, he says
Yeah.
he's a showman, he's not a wrestler. I mean, you said the same thing, but the fact, maybe not as WWF champion, but as Intercontinental champion.
that was shorter. I agree. That was shorter.
Semi-main event attraction to sort of bolster.
I'll give that to you, James. The IC title was shorter. And who was it? Honky Tonk Man. So I know a lot of people like I just wasn't into Honky Tonk Man like that. As far as like the heel IC champions, I'd put Mr. Perfect or somebody like that. I wasn't into Honky Tonk Man like that. But it was shorter. And then boom, he was going after the big title. So yeah, it was. But one thing he said that was true, and you agree with Warrior, like him or not. He said, if you're not here for the top spot or the highest belt, what are you doing? What are you doing here? That's true. He said he got in there. He be the top dog, and he did become the top dog. So there you go.
The Hulk Hogan. So, people weren't turning their backs on Warrior when he was the IC champion, definitely. He was one of the more successful ones as far as business is concerned.
Oh, he was over. I'm not saying that he was not over.
Okay, I was about to say.
There's two things you can judge a talent on. As a fan, do you like the guy? Do you accept him? And if you accept him, you buy a ticket and you cheer for him, and that's how the WWE judges, or WWF judges,
The WWF back then.
anybody to be successful if they produce. So if they produce ticket sales and merchandise sales, they're a success. So you're going to push this guy. Which brings me to another point. The Women's Pro Basketball League in the USA, they're complaining and bitching that they don't make LeBron money. They don't make the money that the guys make. Well, there's a reason for that. Because the NBA is not supported by anybody else but themselves. But the WNBA is supported by the NBA because they don't draw. You may have a few teams doing okay, but as a league, no, they don't really draw.
I've got a stat for you. I think I'm roughly right here. Is that this was an argument in maybe Australia recently with women's football, and say we do the same job as the men. We should get paid equally. And someone pointed out that women's football, as popular as it is comparatively to any other time in the history of
women's football, except for
draws about 6%.
That stuff they was playing with the women walk around with their high. I don't know what kind of football that was.
Proportionally to what you're drawing.
Okay, let me ask you this: what do they draw if you put them on TV?
Now, the English women's football. I think the England women won the tournament. Did really well on TV. Quite surprising. And they were saying, hey, we packed out the stadium, but then they also forget to mention that the tickets were a heck of a lot cheaper, and you know what I mean, it's that kind of thing as well. But they did actually pack out quite a lot of stadiums, maybe not too many sellouts, but the actual viewership on TV was very high for the last few games.
But what if they'd had Ultimate Warrior?
What, the women's team?
Oh, you're trying to be funny now.
Hey, that would be a good gimmick. Bring the Warrior out during a football game.
Well, he'd be blown up in 2 minutes and they'd have to sub him off, I guess.
But the sad part about WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans is when did he die? On the Monday Raw?
The day after the Tuesday. He was in the car park. He was in the car park and he was keeled over.
Keeled over at 54 or whatever he was. So, but let me tell you a feeling I had when I'm sitting out there in the audience and watching his speech. He was sweating And I'm thinking, wow,
Yeah, they said he wasn't doing.
something is a
He
little
wasn't doing
bit
too good.
wrong with him.
Seriously, that ain't
Because I
funny.
had a feeling that, because I didn't have a feeling he was going to die, but I had a feeling that something was wrong and something was going to happen to him. I hated that I heard later that he had died. But that's life, so.
Yep.
So, but folks, listen. A prime example of a man who worked out all his life, and then not in really past his prime, but he looked great, and he ate great, but which makes me believe that I'm going to eat whatever I want, because I'm going to end up dead, same as Ultimate Warrior. So I'm going to enjoy myself while I'm here. And you go to the gym, you see the warrior. If you're gonna push a weight, you go. Don't do it. If you've got to strain that much to get it, quit. Just stop. So I actually stopped. I don't do any of that stuff anymore, any of that strenuous stuff. So, and I'm still alive. So
let me ask you this. I want to pick on something that you've said and I've heard many other times before, is that the Ultimate Warrior didn't care. But the fact is that with Ultimate Warrior, it seemed like, especially at least when it came to him and his intellectual property.
Okay, again, one more time with the caring or he didn't like it business. Guess he liked it temporary or something like that. He didn't want to be out there, like I said in another video, he didn't want to be out there like these guys 30 years or even 20 years running around hitting the mat and falling on the floor. You see, he wanted to do something else. Like now, they let you do something else. Back then, it was wrestling. They found out you're doing something else. It's like, oh no, you can't do that. You're a wrestler, and that's it. Except for, like I said, I think it was Hogan, Piper, and Jesse Ventura. Everybody else wrestling, and that's it. So.
And the way he was booked, and the way he wanted to be seen, and by fans and all that kind of thing, is that he really cared, or like he maybe even cared too much. Because he
cared about what?
Well, let's say his gimmick. I mean, he sued WWE, like his booking. That's the perfect one. Because he really seemed to care who he'd win and who he'd lose to all the time. So he obviously cared to a point.
Well, he had sense enough to take care of himself, and if he went out there, this is if say I'm a fan of Ultimate Warrior, and he goes out there and he gets beat, and I'm going, what? That's not supposed to happen. And I'm not mad. I'm befuddled. Like, what the hell happened to this guy? If he just gets beat. Now, if it's an angle, it's something else, and you put a bunch of guys and you beat his butt up and you leave him laying. Yeah, that might get me to come back, but he wasn't a long-term angle guy. He was short-term. You put him on TV, and of course, when you put him against Hulk or you put him against Randy Savage, and Randy carried him a hell of a lot more than Hulk did, because Hulk, for business, he carried him the best he could. But Hulk Hogan was never the worker that the Macho Man was. No. Never. So he's the type of guy that he's a booker's nightmare, to tell you the truth. And they may have put him out there in short matches. You know why? Because it was easier. Because he could do those. Put him out there. You get a little heat. This is Ultimate Warrior's finish. If I'm the booker, I'm saying, yeah, go out there, I don't know, go 8 minutes, 9 minutes. And, whatever, and get a little heat on him, and he makes a comeback, and let's go home. That's it. Now it's up to the talent to figure all that out. And this is where I'm going. I'm going out there on the stage or somewhere where I can see what's going on, and I watch the match. Of course, they've done it 1,000 times, so, and the people cheer when he goes out, and then he shakes the ropes, and he shakes his head, and then he gets a little, he gets a little steam on him, they call it, and then he starts hulking up, and then he makes his comeback. People get ready, boom, de boom, de boom, de boom, whatever his finish. What was his finish anyway?
They loved him, period. Come on, Dutch. I remember, again, and people was losing it. Got out of my damn seat when he came back at what was it, WrestleMania 8, and Hogan, Bobby Heenan's like, he ain't got a friend left. And that Warrior music hit. I got out of that damn chair. I'll never forget that. This man sprinted to the ring. That's when people thought it was somebody else because he had got real small. But yeah, that was something. He cut the hair. So yeah, I lost it in that house.
Warrior was like a military press slam, then he bounced off the ropes and did a splash.
Okay. And then he does that. 1, 2, 3, yay, yay. And then he'd run around the ring and he's gone.
Oh boy. He was, again, Dutch, he was not that bad now. So, and there was a lot of guys that didn't fool with it either. Because I remember the Dutch, the Dutch Brown. The Bad News Brown interviews, he's like, because he said, what did he say? He said something like, I ain't doing that shit, or something like that. And they were talking about Warrior not liking the business. Like, he's like, he didn't really like it either, but he said he made it work, or whatever he said, because he was like a black belt in judo or something like that. But and there was some other guys that didn't grow up watching it. Lesnar, Lesnar's got the amateur background and everything, but Lesnar wasn't like a big wrestling fan. I think he started watching wrestling in college or something. He didn't really watch it like when he was little, but he watched some of it. And other wrestlers, they watched it here and there, but not every wrestler grew up on it. Now today's wrestlers, yeah, they grew up on it, but it depends. All depends.